Hey, welcome to part 3. So in this section, we are going to cover grids and how to create your 9 by 9 grid. And then we're also going to cover maybe some special effects like blending tools or some layer effects to kind of break up the grid a little bit and give you some extra tools that are really cool. This is pretty cool. I mean, it's acceptable. It uses all the tools, but let's push it. Let's take it up a notch and kind of get freaky with it. So we are going to start dragging stuff. Actually, let's unlock our pattern layer, drag things off the page. Let's put this guy back. We're going to just drag off a few random things to create some space on here. Now we are just playing. Yeah, let's drag this geometric one off, this geometric one off. That's kind of cool. Okay. So I'm going to just throw out some random tools. There's going to be some layer blending effects. There's going to be we'll do a little bit with the pen tool. I don't have a plan. It's just trial and error at this point. See what we come up with. I'm going to start with the bullseye here. I'm going to just drag that across these two squares and like draw it out across two squares. Okay, so that's interesting, kind of cool. Starts creating hierarchies and different sizes. It's just a little overbearing, but what we're going to do, we're going to go under Windows again and go to this thing called transparency. Transparency, I use this all the time. It also exists in Photoshop, so you might be familiar with it in Photoshop. It works a little bit different in each one. One of my favorite features in it is the multiply feature. Now look at that, that's starting to get kind of cool. Could even like slide this guy over. Let's see what happens. Oh yeah, that's actually really cool. Put the cloud up here, maybe up here, or maybe here. Let's put the cloud here, and we're gonna do the transparency effect on that. Multiply, maybe. There's another one that's really useful called screen. Yeah, that's cool. Look at that. That's starting to look really cool. Maybe we'll do this kind of thing with the eyeball over here, having it go across two different panels. So we're going to take the eyeball, we're going to just stretch it across two panels, make it a lot bigger. Let's just kind of play around with some of these different transparency effects. We could make it maybe a little bit, there's an opacity layer or effect. Let's turn it to 60, see what happens. So it gets kind of clear. Let's start with it being more solid. Let's do 80. Give some transparency, and then some color burn. No, don't like color burn. Overlay. No, don't like overlay. Hard light. Color burn. Screen. Screen's actually pretty cool. I'm liking this, and maybe we'll take this starburst, and instead of it going actually. That doesn't really work, does it? Maybe this starburst. Have that go across two of these. No, that doesn't really work either. Let's grab the pen tool. Let's just throw the pen tool in here and see what happens. So the pen tool, everyone's afraid of the pen tool, but it is, if you have a tablet to work with, pen tool is actually pretty easy. You can actually use the brush tool and things. By hand with the mouse, it's a little trickier. It takes some practice to get used to. You can kind of see in that little animation there, it uses these things called Bezier curves, which are basically little vector points that you stretch and that creates curves in between them. Let's just do a little like piece of fire. Fire's not too hard. It's harder than it looks, and we're just gonna actually, let's start over. It's easy, so I can go really slow. So you can see I have the pen tool here, and what I'm gonna do, when you click with the pen tool, you can draw geometric shapes. That's cool, and I think there's a way to even make all these straight edges rounded. I'm gonna start with the point of the fire and work my way down, kind of create some curves. a lot of tutorials online for how to use the pen tool, so I'm sure you could find that. And I will go over it more in the future. Particularly, you wouldn't think it's super useful in Photoshop, but it has a lot of uses. That's a kind of, you can kind of re-click on the points with the direct select tool. That's an okay flame. Let's change the flame to orange with our swatches that are buried in somewhere in my, I'm gonna have to go to the Windows swatches again. Somewhere here, I've got my orange swatch. There we go. Got some fire in there. Maybe a star up there. And actually, maybe if we make the star big and overlap it, and have all of these things kind of like have one of those transparency effects on it. Let's see what happens. Lighten, nah. Let's go with a hard light, no. Color burn, no. Actually, that's kind of cool. So again, I'm just kind of playing around with different ideas. And that looks pretty neat there. Maybe the fire should be like up here. No, maybe I don't like the fire so much. No, it actually doesn't need to be fire in there. Or it could be a lot of little stars. And oh, and this big star. Yeah, let's play around with different size stars. Again, I'm just kind of randomly playing, stretching different sizes and shapes of stars, using the Option key to like constantly be copying them. Maybe change a couple of the colors up in there. You can just double click on the color and make it a little bit lighter. Actually, I think maybe this is about, you know, kind of proportions here, getting things to look right. And maybe do a few little circles in there. There. That's kind of cool. Yeah. So yeah, and you can just keep playing around. You may even have start getting some ideas of like, I'm going to like create such a. There's no right or wrong answer for this. It's up to you. This is basically just experiment and like learn and practice with the tools. I think that's it. We will be basically expanding on these really basic tools next week, but for now that's it. This should really help you guys out. Like I said, you know, I like this here, what's going on, I like this individual shape. As overall design, it's not great. It's sections of it are cool. Maybe, you know, I might use those for inspiration. Like I like this, I like this, I like this, but as a unified piece right now, not so great. I expect better of you guys. Maybe in terms of your idea, you might not nail it with all the tools, but you know, practice. You know, maybe go, God, I wish I could do this. And I think we'll spend a little bit extra time with these tools in the second week, and then the first half of the class, and then the last half of the class, we're gonna look at how to import some of those things I was pointing out on the posters, how to get like some hand drawn looking pieces and brushes and stuff inside of like these really simple shapes to give it more of a a human, realistic, natural sort of feeling. So I'll see you in class next week. Hey, so I'm going to show you one more thing. I wasn't really happy with the design and decided maybe there's something else we can add to it. So let's go. First, let's get rid of all these little stars. And I've actually learned a few things about how to do this demonstration program, so there may be a few things that we can use in it. Always learning new things. Okay, so right now we've got this cool, just a blank space here. I think maybe to personalize some of your designs, and we might even go like one more week on the project or do some follow-up tweaks to it for the second or third week. I'm going to show you how to import a photo. Importing photos is easy. It's kind of the next thing that we're going to be learning, how to combine Photoshop and Illustrator. But I'm really big into dinosaurs, so I'm going to find a picture of a dinosaur to put in there. So first, click on File and go to Place, and Rainbow Wheel of Death. There we go. I pulled some aside and threw them on my desktop. Let's find a cool one in here. That T-Rex is pretty cool. Click Place. There. So you can do it that way. I'm going to delete that. Or if you go to your folders on another screen, but I have a dinosaur folder with a bunch of graphics in it, and if I like take that folder and just drag the image from the folder into Adobe Illustrator, you can put it in there that way too. So now I've got a cool image in here. It's basically just like a square that's been colored in. I'm going to hold the Shift key and kind of scale that up. I want this T-Rex to fit in one of those squares. That looks about the right size. We'll be able to move it around once it's in the square. I'm going to sort of line it up where that pink square is supposed to be. Then I'm going to go to Object, Arrange, and Send to Back. It looks like it might be on a different layer. Let's go open Windows, Layers. Yeah, it is. Actually going to have to cut that X and Object, paste behind. That's Command B. So now this guy is behind this pink square. This pink square is going to be a mask. And when I combine these two things, only the T-Rex is going to show through. But I think I'm going to want to use this pink square as like a color on top of it to kind of like give it that really wild graphic effect. So I'm going to pull a backup one to the side by holding the Option key. Okay. So how to create a mask. You basically have a square, which is your mask. It could be any shape. It could be this star. It could be any shape. It's just one basic shape. And then you hold the Shift key and select the image behind it. And then under Object, go all the way down to Clipping Mask and click Make. There we go. We got T-Rex in there. Looks pretty cool. I'm going to throw that pink square on top of it. Again, roughly lining things up. That's pretty cool. There's more mechanical ways that you can get into it to like really, really super make it pixel perfect. The next thing we're going to look at is a thing called transparency, which is in Windows near the bottom. Transparency pulls up this menu. When it's just filled normally, it says normal. You can make it a little bit transparent here with opacity. Let's like if we typed it 70 and then hit return, shows through a little bit. I don't really want that. I love playing around with these transparency effects. They basically work on concepts of color and dodging and burning. So if you're familiar with photography, it works. It's a little more like realistic photography in Photoshop than it is in Illustrator. Multiply is one I use a lot. That's looking a little too dark. Oh, that's a cool one. Overlay is a great one. It's also a trick that you use with really, really subtle colors in Photoshop. So yeah, that's actually pretty cool. And since there's one photo in here, I might bring in another one just to kind of go through it again with you guys. I'm going to take, let me get another square. Let's draw another square over here, maybe like with orange. I'm also a huge fan of Halloween. We'll use the eyedropper to grab the orange from there. And then I'm going to, again, actually I'm going to go to the desktop, open my Halloween folder. It's on my other screen. I'll drag it on here so you can, I got a cat, some cute Halloween stuff, creepy cat skull. Let's try the cute Halloween thing first. Let's drag that in there, see how that looks. Actually, that's kind of cool. Totally different style. Gonna kind of get that back there, make sure it's on the wrong layer. I'm gonna move it to the correct layer, X. Select that square. Command B to send it behind there. So now we have cat, orange square, and then we hold the shift key, select both of the objects. You can drag over it too. I like the shift key. And then go to object, all the way to the bottom, clipping mask. It's also Command 7. Make. There we have cool little cat. I'm going to draw an orange square over the top of the cat and use another effect. So he's got normal right now. What's hard light? Oh, hard light is cool. Now that actually is cool. I'm liking the way that's going. And you can do that with a lot of different photos. So yeah, I think we'll, maybe see where people are on things this week. I'm going to hopefully bring in a Bluetooth transmission receiver pod, from the future. So we can all look at our stuff from our laptops on the screen. So bring your work in, no matter where it is. You may be pulling your hair out and you have like just 2 little drawings on the screen. That's fine. We'll go through things. We'll go through a couple more demos and get it to work out for everyone. So I'll see you in class Monday.